Hey, what is up? My name is 𝙍𝙬𝙗𝙄𝙗. Today we're looking at chase scenes, how they work, how the parts that they're made of, and how to build those parts into a complete whole. I'm not the world expert on chase scenes. I have filmed quite a few of them. I really love them. I feel like they're pure cinema. They're exciting. I'm about to do a much larger project that has several in it. So I wanted to go back to the drawing board, study the chase scenes that I really love, look at what makes them great, and sort of break down how to shoot them or how I'm planning on shooting them. Not an expert. I'm just a huge admirer of other directors' work, and hopefully the things that I've learned along the way will help someone else out there. They'll at least help me to organize my thinking about them, so maybe someone else can benefit from that. The chase scenes that really stuck with me in my memory are mainly foot chases. Point Break would be the immortal one, when Johnny Utah is chasing Reagan through the streets of Venice or wherever they're running. There's also a couple of great car chase scenes, but for this video, I'm going to restrict myself to foot chase scenes for reasons that I'm going to go into. The chase scenes are made of pretty simple building blocks, usually cut pretty quickly, though there are one-shot chase scenes out there. You have a runner and a pursuer, someone who's trying to escape, someone who's trying to catch, and there aren't that many angles to capture someone running somewhere. I'm going to look at a couple of them in Maya, so I can kind of explain what the building blocks are, and then how you take those building blocks and build a more sophisticated scene. Here we are in Maya. I've created a little scene where a little red man runs, a little blue man follows him down a street, and then they get to the end. So very simple, illustrative kind of construction here. So I'm going to break down the different types of cameras the different ways that you can cover this very simple motion, and then how you combine those simple ways to make more complicated moves. So our first one is a close pan, and if I play this, the camera is mounted on sticks, and then as the red man runs past, the camera pans with his motion so that the background moves, he stays sort of center framed, and the background whizzes by. So you can see here I'm on a 35mm lens. What I do like about this is that you don't need any fancy movement. You can do this. Anyone who has a tripod can do this. This is probably the most common shot you get in chase scenes. Next camera is all the way over here, so it's the same movement, but it's on a 400mm lens. So it's going to do the same thing. You're going to see it down here. It's going to pan with the leading man. I'll look through the eyes of it. It's a little bit tilted. It's going to pan with the guy as he races past. And you see the background whiz by because we're on such a long lens. But essentially, it's the very different variation of this. And the next one is over here. So you can see this is looking straight down the street that they're running along, and it's on 700mm lens. You could just use a 400mm and put the lens doubler on. And the reason that this gets used a lot is because it's such a long lens, the people don't look like they're moving. So you can get the two guys or whoever is chasing the other person in frame at the same time, and they look like they're running but not going anywhere, which is great for getting a shot of their expression, seeing what they're looking like, seeing the action and the emotion of the chase. Well, they're the main ways that you can capture a chase scene on sticks, which for a long time was the only way you could do it. The next one we're going to look at is the tracking cameras, which is a whole different class of cameras. And you're going to see this one that's green now is going to be in front of the guy, the red guy, and pull backwards with him as he runs. So let's see what that looks like in camera. So the guy's running, we're moving with him, and then he passes the camera. So you probably guess the next one is exactly the opposite shot, where we're following this time the blue man from behind. This one's a little bit more off to the side. So we see the distance between them, we get motion, we get action. So this would be on a Steadicam, or it could be handheld if you're feeling adventurous and want to get all Paul Greengrass with it. Or it could be on a gimbal, which would let you move a lot faster, and is probably how most independent filmmakers are going to make this. The last way of using a moving camera, moving building block of the chase scene, is the track dolly. So this is going to move alongside the action. And the way that you see this done in a lot of movies is in a car. So cameraman sticks his camera out the window, they drive with the guys running, and you get this nice dolly shot. They're really the only ways you can shoot the basic building blocks of shooting a chase scene. Where you get creative is by combining those two. So you see this camera here, it's going to start tracking backwards with the lead guy. He's going to catch up to it. It's going to pan with him, and then it's going to follow behind him. And this is a really common move. It's probably the most common of the compound movements. Like any of these camera movements you can put together, but this is the one that usually ends up in chase scenes, for the very reason that very few people can run backwards as fast as someone can run forwards. So what you do is you get the cameraman backing back. As the runner catches up with him, he pans with him, and then he runs behind him, and as the runner kind of leaves him behind. They're amazing ways to create capture the movement of a chase scene, but that alone does not make a great chase scene. You can see all these that I've illustrated here are on a perfectly linear line. That's not a very exciting trajectory for a chase scene. What you want is people going down alleyways, up stairways, changing levels, dropping down things. You want that dimensionality into your chase scene so that you can get all these kind of cool, interesting effects where these same moves, like a pan then becomes a follow because the runner comes towards camera and then turns and goes off in a different direction. You want to get a good chase scene, you want to constantly have the environment create problems for the runner and the follower, but then also for them to create problems for each other. There's a great, in the Point Break scene, there's a great scene where Reagan, or Patrick Swayze playing Bodhi, locks the door to kind of keep 𝙁out, and 𝙁 doesn't skip a beat and smashes the window with a flower pot, which goes to show it's like a conversation between the runner and the pursued. It's like them challenging and overcoming one another. Then it's the same. It's right after that Bodhi throws a pit bull at Johnny Utah, and without missing a beat, he drop kicks the dog in a pretty mean-hearted scene, but it's really showing that that's how bad Johnny Utah wants to capture the bank robbers. He's gonna drop kick a pooch to get to him. And so the chase, more than just being motion and action, reveals things about our characters, reveals the choices they make. It lets them try and outsmart one another, especially the person who's being pursued. They're really setting the problems. They're setting how fast they can run, what obstacles they're prepared to go over. Each time they take a turn or jump over a fence, they're betting that the person behind them will have a harder time with that than they would. So it's sort of like a test. It's two people testing one another. And then each chase scene has to end with the guy catching or the guy getting away. Think about all these things. The camera movements themselves aren't that complicated in most chase scenes. It really is how you've set up the drama between the two characters, how you've set up the stakes, what each one is willing to go to either escape or to capture that person. So in a sense, a chase scene becomes just like another scene. It's there to not just advance plot, but to reveal character. So that was my chase scene 101 exploration. I'll hopefully do a little bit more of a previs, go out and shoot real people running places, and you get a better idea of what I mean by combining these. But this was part 1. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your questions in the comments. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Oh, can I just say that I'm really proud of how I lit this. It is a quasar tube on a light stand with just a little folded piece of black wrap that sits along the length of it, kind of flags it off and creates a little hat. So it illuminates me, but not the wall behind me. I was just kind of proud of that.